Welcome to the March meeting of the Historic Conservation Commission. I am Gary Lader, Chair of the HCC, and I would like to introduce the commission. To my left is Jeffrey Lung, our Historic Officer and Registered Architect, and welcome to Laura. Good to see you. To my far left is Craig Evans, resident of the district. Next to me is Roger Hudak, resident of the district. To my right is Desiree Strasser, resident of the Mount Airy district. Next to her is Todd Chambers, architect and business with business interests in the district. And then Mike Simonson, our chief building inspector. Ordinance information is the purpose and intent of the City of Bethlehem to promote, enhance, and preserve historic resources and traditional community character for the education, cultural, economic, and general welfare of the public through the preservation, protection, and regulation of buildings and areas of historic interest or importance within the city, which have been determined to be of local, state, or national significance. The way the meeting will unfold is the applicants will be taken in order. After identifying the project address and the presenters, our historic officer will provide a background on the building and any recommendations. At that time, the applicant will present their project and plan. The board will then address the project, allow public comment, and ultimately create a motion to approve as presented, approve with modifications, table the project with clear recommendations, or deny the project with reasons for the denial and changes or improvements which would result in a positive recommendation. For public comment, if there is any, there is a 3-minute time limit and comments must be specific to the attributes of the building only. Speakers are to announce themselves with their name and address before speaking. The HCC is a recommending board, and the results of our meeting will be presented to City Council and their vote will be binding. Please do not forget to secure your permit from the permit office on the first floor of City Hall before you begin your project. Above all, I remind everyone to conduct themselves in a civil manner and always use a civil tone. The commission is here to help you with your project. We are a group of volunteers who are dedicated to historic preservation and restoration of older buildings in Bethlehem and beyond. If any commission members have a conflict of interest with any of the applications on tonight's agenda, please come forth at this time. Any conflicts? No? Great. And I ask everyone to sign in. And we actually have one agenda item, a business item that we usually do the very first meeting of the year, and that is the election of officers. That is the chair and the vice chair. So if we have any nominations, I'll start with the chair. First of all, if there's a nomination for the chair, please do so at this time.
Gary Lader.
Okay, any other nominations?
Second, Gary Lader.
Okay, all right, thank you. Is there a nomination for vice chair?
Craig Evans.
Craig Evans. Any seconds on that?
Sure, I'll second that.
Okay, and I guess we could put both of these positions to vote at the same time. Craig Evans.
Aye.
Okay, Roger Hudak.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye as well. And Desiree?
Aye.
And Todd?
Aye.
And Mike?
Aye.
Okay, so our positions carry over for yet another year. And thank you, everyone, for helping us get that item of business straightened out. And now we could move to our first agenda, which looks like our only agenda item for tonight. And gentlemen, please just announce your names.
Mike Pasitos with Express Sign Outlet.
And Rick Pongratz, Batter Up by Batch Micro Creamery.
Rick, no relation to Mary.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
how are you related to Mary?
So that's my grandfather's cousin.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So a long time ago.
Okay. Yeah, she was really wonderful. She was with us for
She did
many
a great
years
job.
and she's sorely missed.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. And
We invoke her often.
yeah, yeah. And when Jeff is ready.
Of course. More door too. Thank you.
The property at 307 to 311 East 3rd Street. Building description, period style, and defining features. This structure is a detached 5-story, 10-bay, mixed-use masonry structure with a flat roof and inner courtyard. Though conceived as one structure, the overall building mass changes in facade materials to appear as a series of row houses. The fourth floor terminates in an ornamental cornice, while the fifth floor facade is clad in scallop siding to help read as a mansard roof. Defining architectural features include traditionally inspired glass storefronts, a simplified cornice at the lower sign band, a combination of double-hung windows, casement windows, and Juliet balconies, as well as cast sills and lintels. HC assessments of this new development project, which references Italianate detailing found throughout South Bethlehem, were conducted in 2021 through 2022, and construction is almost complete. Thus, this structure is a contemporary building and therefore non-contributing to the Historic Conservation District. As a reminder, contributing structures date from circa 1880 till 1950. Proposed alterations: the applicant proposes to install 2 new wall signs comprised of pin-mounted and backlit aluminum lettering, as well as various new vinyl graphics installed on select storefront windows and entrance doors. There are no Secretary of Interior standard guidelines used tonight because those deal with contributing historic structures. But I did utilize the ordinance that Mr. Lader read at the beginning of tonight's meeting, the Historic Conservation Commission guidelines for storefronts, and the Historic Conservation Commission guidelines for signage. My evaluation, the effects on the district and recommendations. The Certificate of Appropriateness application indicates the intent to install new pin-mounted and backlit aluminum lettering within the sign bands above storefronts at the 2 facades to reflect the new commercial tenant.
The AAA? Okay. I did have them though.
Double A.
Double A.
You need AA?
Yeah, we need double A.
Oh, okay. Put new ones in there
The problem is online.
Do we have double A? He doesn't have.
then. I don't. I want me to run back to the office.
Is there a spoon?
Yeah, will that reach?
Can we just move on?
We can share one. Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, there you go.
Just move to the corner here.
There we go. Just improvise.
The application indicates the intent to install new pin-mounted and backlit aluminum lettering within the sign bands above the storefronts at 2 facades to reflect a new commercial tenant, as well as new vinyl graphics in select storefronts and entrance doors. Provided supplements do not include the required scale drawing of the building facades to receive new signage, so the application is incomplete. The application is also outdated and did not include the signature line at the bottom for the building owner, which is required for proposed signage, and that application was implemented in 2022. I do have an update about that at the end of my assessment.
John.
The proposed signage within both sign bands is composed of stylized cursive lettering fabricated from dimensional aluminum and painted black that spells out the word batter followed by the word up. Overall dimensions of each sign are 20 inches tall by 58.66 inches wide. The application indicates the thickness of lettering is 1.5 inches to 2 inches, The offset dimension between the surface of the sign band and the back of the sign of the letter, the back of the lettering is not indicated. So they're pin mounted, and we're going to want to know that dimension. The proposed sign placement on the main facade is described as, quote, centered over, and then the 3 letters FRO, and then there's another graphic that interrupts the description. The proposed sign placement on the side facade is described as, quote, middle of side facade, right aligned between hooks, end quote. I don't really understand what that means, so during the discussion, I'm requesting clarification of both of those. Middle of what, and then aligned between hooks. Again, that's unclear. Usually we deal with dimensions. We're looking for measurements or centered or something like that. The project description indicates the intent to backlight the signage using LED lighting for a halo effect. So I'm going to break my assessment into 3 parts. Those 2 signs, because they're the same. Then I'm going to talk about 4. I'm sorry. Window signage, door signage, and then window signage again. So my assessment of just this component. The relevant design guidelines describe appropriate signage within the district as lettering and graphics applied to a rigid backer or individual letters pin mounted to a sign band. So the proposed signage is appropriate. We do allow pin mounted signage in the sign band, but I'm requesting some clarifications and suggested revisions. For the certificate, we're going to need dimensions. So we do have the dimensions of the sign. What's missing is the dimension of the sign band. If we had the required drawing, I could have dimensioned that. So I'm hoping they are going to bring the dimensions of the sign band. And that really is just to make sure that dimensionally the proposed sign fits within the sign band rather than is too big to fit. It seems to be vertically centered within the sign band. It's not really indicated, so that would be my request. Are they centering it or some other dimension? Also, intended placement. I think they're probably saying one of them is centered over maybe the front window or the front door or something. So if they could just clarify that, that would be helpful. That's the main entrance. Around the corner, I'm not really sure what the intent is, so hopefully they'll be able to clarify that. Typically with signage, we receive from the fabricator some product specifications, some details. All it says is aluminum. Typically, it's not going to be raw aluminum. It's going to be oftentimes, ordered from some kind of a fabricator. And we often have those in the record. And that's especially important if there's a finish on it. We want to make sure that finish is rated for exterior use. So it would need to be weather resistant, fade proof, etc. Our guidelines predate this type of backlit approach, although the commission over time has garnered that approach appropriate. However, in the past, you've limited the thickness of those letters to 1 inch, and they're proposing 1.5 to 2 inches. So again, that's going to be between you and the applicant. I'm just calling your attention to in the past, typically said that more than that is just too chunky for our district. Added for my previous comments that were released earlier, we always like confirmation that also the sides of the lettering are painted. So we don't want just the front and then the sides are raw. So if the applicant could confirm that whatever finishes on the front, it also wraps around the sides. And finally, our guidelines do state that there should be no conduits, raceways, junction boxes, etc., visible on the exterior building facade. Meaning if they choose to use illumination, they're going to have to do that from the inside of the building so that it doesn't appear on the exterior. And that wasn't clear from the application. So that's my assessment of the pin mounted. Now I'm going to switch to the window graphics. So there's proposed vinyl graphic measuring 32.56 inches tall by 35 inches wide to be installed within the storefront window at the chamfered corner. Replacement is confirmed as centered vertically and horizontally. Centered within the graphic is the corporate logo comprised of the word batter in bold, stylized cursive lettering, followed by an underline terminating in the word up in bold, sans serif, all uppercase lettering. Beneath the corporate name is the phrase by Batch Micro Creamery, all in small, bold, sans serif, uppercase lettering. Above the corporate name is is a graphic depicting, and pardon my French, I speak German, not French, liege waffle in shades of brown, topped by a scoop of ice cream in a medium blue color. At the right and left of the graphics are the word EST for established and 2024 in small sans serif all uppercase lettering. Arching above the graphics are the words waffles and ice cream with an ampersand in medium, bold, sans serif all uppercase lettering. Except for the waffle and the ice cream graphics, all lettering is white in color. The proposed storefront window signage is appropriate with the clarification that installation will be on the inside surface of the glass, and also a confirmation of the height and width dimensions of the storefront window. So yet again, we have the dimensions of the vinyl, but we need to make sure that it dimensionally fits within the glass itself. And traditionally, the commission has requested all graphics to be installed on the inside because that avoids that dirt collection at the seams between the signs and the glass. So that was the one graphic in the storefront. Then there are graphics proposed for the two entrance doors. Proposed vinyl graphic measuring 15 inches tall by 15.5 inches wide is to be installed within each glazed entrance door. Here we do have the placement. It's 37.6 inches from the bottom of each door. The graphics, including the corporate logo, waffle, and ice cream design, as well as various lettering, are the same details described above for the storefront window. The proposed entrance door signage is appropriate with a clarification that installation, yet again, is on the inside surfaces of the glazed doors. And yet again, we need the confirmation of the height and width dimensions of those doors. So if they're proposing 15 inches tall by 15.5 inches wide, we just need to make sure that dimensionally those fit within the glazing of those doors. The fourth proposed type of signage are vinyl lettering, measuring 3 inches tall to be installed 2.5 inches down from the tops of the storefront windows. So the storefronts have transoms. This is taken from the storefront top itself. 2.5 inches down from that is the top of the lettering. I hope that makes sense. So that would be 5.5 inches, the bottom of the lettering from the top of the window. All signage is large, bold sans serif, all uppercase lettering in white color. According to the supplemental mock-up, the front facade includes lettering in 3 storefronts. The left storefront window graphic reads, again, the word liege waffles, and I do note that it was misspelled in the proposal, so hopefully you're going to correct the spelling of that. It would look like German if it was the other way. It would be Leige. That measures 54 inches wide. The center storefront window reads premium ice cream and measures 72 inches wide, and the right storefront window reads gluten-free waffles and measures 80 inches wide. According to the same mock-up, so there's a photo montage of both facades and then a mock-up on one page that shows each of these windows. According to the same mock-up, the side facade also includes lettering in 3 storefronts. The left storefront reads bubble waffles and measures 62 inches wide. The center storefront reads waffle bowls and measures 56 inches wide. And the right storefront window reads waffle sandwiches and measures 77 inches wide. So the proposed window signage is appropriate with clarification, yet again, that the install will be on the inside surfaces of the glazed storefronts, and also confirm that the spelling is corrected for the one, and provide confirmation that the width dimensions for each storefront can receive the graphics. So yet again, we have the dimensions of the graphics, we just don't have the dimensions of the windows. In this case, I'm not worried about the height, but I am concerned about the widths of the windows.
John has that.
Excuse me, so was there a mock-up sheet similar to this that actually showed the signage?
No, the one you have there, I'm sorry, I probably misspoke. That's all we have.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I'm considering a mock-up.
Oh, okay.
So I do call attention to this. So the supplemental photograph of the front facade depicts 4 storefronts, 2 on either side of the recessed entrance doors. So I don't know what they mean by left, center, and right. Then around the corner, it also says left, center, and right, but there are at least 5, maybe 6 windows. And I'm not sure what they mean by left, center, and right. So for the certificate, we're going to also need clarification what they mean by left, center, and right on each facade.
And where do you see left, center, and right, Jeff?
On the, Craig, I'm sorry, I left my application over there. May I see? Thank you. On this, sorry, this page here,
Oh, okay.
the very top, it says front facade.
I see. So
Um,
it doesn't actually say left, center, or right.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
just implied, right?
Maybe. I apologize.
I think we need the applicant to clarify where, specifically where each of these.
Yeah, I received an
installed, right?
email from Craig Pfeiffer that had the width dimensions for each of those. That's where I gained it. And it also calls each one left, middle, and right. So I apologize if you didn't get the same email. So it came after the fact, I believe.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. And sorry about that mix-up. Thank you. And then finally, I said I would circle back to the issue of the owner's signature. So in response to the inquiry, I pressed this already with the planning office. Craig Pfeiffer, the city's assistant director of planning and zoning, received via email on March 13, 2024 from John Callahan, authorization on behalf of the building owner, P.D. Taylor LLC, to authorization to seek HCC review of the proposed signage. So we pressed that because we have had in the past a couple of instances where HCC approved signage and then the planning office received a complaint that the owner of that building was unaware of the proposal. And to make sure we never have a situation where the owner is caught off guard, we changed those forms 2 years ago. And noticing that this was an outdated form, I had requested that. Otherwise, I would not have been comfortable pursuing tonight's agenda item.
They are aware. John saw it.
Is that it, Jeff? Okay. Mike and Rick, would you be able to clarify for us some of the things Jeff brought up?
Sure.
First of all, maybe we could start with the signage going in the sign band. And do you have the dimension of the sign band?
It's 24 inches tall. I do not have the length for the front or the side right now on me, but they're 24 inches tall.
I think that's the main
band.
thing. So it's 24 tall. Okay, so that gives you about 2 inches
Top
above
and
and
bottom.
below.
Mhm.
Okay.
So just to be clear, that white area between the horizontal.
It's
darker
24
bands.
inches.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. And is that the true dimension of the aluminum lettering? What was it, 1.5 inches?
We can go to an inch if you need to be, as far as your allotments for thickness go.
Tell us more about how it's finished.
It's powder coated,
Okay, so that would mean all sides of it. then.
all sides. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it cast aluminum
Um,
build up?
to be honest, I'm not quite 100% sure. I have a wholesaler that I use that actually makes the signage, and we go and install it. We do all the vinyl printing in house, but I use a sub for that. But it's something that I could find out. But I mean,
I'm just trying to determine whether it's one solid monolithic piece of aluminum or is it sheets
Oh,
that
it
are
would-
fabricated, right? So-
it'll be fabricated. Yeah. Like
okay.
the sides and the
So it'd be like laser cut as opposed to cast.
Right. That's what-
yes,
Is that your question?
Yes. Yeah.
yes.
Does anybody here have preference or issues with the thickness of the lettering? I know Jeff was mentioning we usually keep it to about 1 inch.
I think 1 inch is adequate.
Okay, is that right with you?
That's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
we didn't submit anything to zoning yet, so whatever your recommendations are, we can make changes and then
Okay.
go from there.
And will the inch depth give you enough for?
Yeah,
the
I mean,
LED
typically it's about the
backlighting?
same distance, also inch and a half, 2 inches away from the wall, so you have that capability to have the LEDs behind there. It'll just make for less dimensionality, really. It won't affect the lighting as long as we're allowed to stay off the wall X amount.
And what is your proposed offset from the wall surface?
Inch and a half.
Okay.
In the description that you guys wrote, you said 1.5 to 2 inches. Would you need to go 1 inch to 1.5 inches on the sign, or would an inch? Like, where does that ½ inch work in? Is there certain letters in the logo or anything that are larger than?
No, I mean, it's just the typical depth we use for those
Okay.
kind of letters. But if you're at an inch, then
No. You said the thickness was 1.5 to 2 inches.
yeah, they're saying only going to be an inch.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if you need that extra ½ inch. Right? So I'm kind of trying to figure out where that
Saying
is.
we need that. We need that extra half.
Like, would you need the letters to be 1 inch to 1.5 inches?
Oh no, that was just a proximity of
Okay,
what they
okay.
could be. Yes.
Thank you.
Could you also clarify, on this first sheet here, it says right aligned between hooks.
Yeah, it's not on the picture, but there's I
Okay.
think she was referring to there's gooseneck lighting that's going to be out there, but they're taking the two that are on that side of the building down so they won't interfere with the sign. So the reason it's closer to the front of the building is because so the traffic could see it versus it going further down the side of the building.
Okay, so that was intentional.
Yeah, and the one on the front will be exactly centered left and right over the doors.
And who's the gooseneck lighting by?
That would have to be
I
referred to
believe
the
it was a
contractor as Bill.
civil engineer that decided to. I don't
Oh,
know.
oh,
It's not
okay.
us.
All right.
It's not
It
Joe,
was
it's not-
for safety, I think, more of anything.
Okay,
Like to have external lighting out there.
right. I don't know if that's something that ever came our way, but hopefully.
Yeah, the building owner will have to.
We
come
did
before us
receive
with
an
it.
email from the GC saying that those two lights can be moved for our sign.
Okay, but they're building mounted, in other words.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
All right. All right. That explains that. Thanks. And then what about, okay, you're probably saying where it says placement for the front sign, you're probably just saying it's centered over the front door, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Point of clarification, I'm still not sure on the side where it's going though. Is it centered above a window? Is it centered-
Well.
Yeah,
that's
those
good.
three windows that are there, it would be centered above those three windows. Pretty much where it is on the photo. It's closer to the
Okay.
to 3rd Street, so they can actually view the sign when they're going down.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing about it. It doesn't look like it's real. It looks like it's kind of roughly located in the image. And, if you said, well, you're going to center it over that center window, that makes sense.
And to be clear, we're talking about the center storefront window, right?
No, the one on the side.
Yeah.
It's Taylor
Right?
Street.
Like, I
The
think
center one of those first three
Yes.
on the left-hand side of the building.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Thanks, Todd. I know it has nothing to do with you guys, but I have a feeling those HVAC grills were never presented to us either. Boy, they look great.
Don't yell at us.
Yeah. Anywho, okay. So I wanted to ask too, when on the vinyl lettering, I guess for both the storefronts and the doors, so you understand that that's generally we're always looking for it to be applied to the interior side of the glass.
That's fine. It's less
Okay.
visible on the inside of the glass. It will last longer, but typically I like to do first surface. But if you prefer inside, then that is fine.
Yeah, and that's our standard. And you're right; it does last longer. It stays cleaner. And
Hmm.
all those good things. What I wanted clarification on is with all these, I assume you mean that it's going to be applied to the larger windows?
Yeah. So on the front facade mock-up, Liege waffles, premium ice cream, gluten-free waffles. It'll be the first two windows to the left of the front door, and then the
Okay.
first window to the right of the front door. And the three bottom ones for the side mock-up are the first three windows you see there on the corner
Okay.
below the batter up sign.
Okay.
It's maybe a silly question, but is the black opaque?
No, the black is the window,
It's
Oh,
just
the
showing you
black
the
is the
window.
window.
the
It's
glass.
white.
It'll only be the,
I was
sorry, it'll only be the white lettering. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
all
that
right.
threw me
It's
too.
easy to see.
Yeah.
Sorry, they're just not the same shape as the window. So
Yeah,
it's
no,
confusing, so-
no. It's,
Yep.
Okay.
I asked that question too to him. So.
All right.
Yep.
And I do have sizes of the doors and the windows too.
Okay, right. And
You want to run through those quick
Yes.
for us, please?
Just a second, please.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff.
Thank you. Okay, I think I'm good now. Thank you.
Go ahead. The main windows on the first floor there are 67 and a quarter inches wide by 68 inches tall.
That's right. Can you,
The 6 windows,
so they're all the same?
they're all the same.
So I'm sorry, say that again, please.
67 and a quarter wide by 68 tall.
So that some of these text widths that we had reviewed earlier are wider than, what was it?
Longer
67 and a quarter.
wording.
Yeah, like gluten-free waffles is said to be 80 inches wide. How are we going to handle that?
Must be another drawing that or lettering or numbers that I'm not seeing.
I think somebody emailed that to Craig. Mike P.
Oh yeah, it was me, but I don't know why I had that width down. Now they're all gonna fit they're in that 67 and a quarter inch wide area. Yeah, I know he asked me for sizes, but sorry, give me just 1 second.
Go ahead.
I see what everyone is referring to. I apologize that I'm not sure why I had these wider sizes. I had handed everything in, and then he asked me to email him when I got back to the office, so we had everything in time. And I might have pulled these sizes from a file that was not scaled correctly. The height is the height, and they will all fit within that 67 and a quarter inch wide space that we have.
So, and is it safe to say that we'll have like a 4-inch border around, like on either side of the windows between the text and the aluminum mullion? Or what will that distance
We
be?
can. Obviously, the 4 of these are pretty short. The waffle
Right.
sandwiches.
So
and-
I'm just saying a minimum, right? So if you take gluten-free waffles is the longest.
Yeah, we would have to squish that a little bit.
So you're going to adjust like the spacing of the fonts and the kerning and everything.
Correct.
Yeah.
We try to keep them all the same height, but obviously the widths are going to change depending on how many words there are.
But
But
we're
yes,
not,
we
we're
would
not
leave.
running aluminum to aluminum.
No,
right?
we would leave breathable space around all sides. Yes.
And okay. And what do you think that dimension would be? I mean, can we just say that it's going to be a minimum of 2.5 because that's our gap to the top mullion?
Yeah, I can have it match the top. We can do 2.5 left and right as well. Yes, of glass to the aluminum.
Okay. Does that work?
That's fine.
That's the maximum, yes.
That would be the minimum dimension between the letter and the aluminum of the storefront window.
So is that going to be the same for every one of them? or is
No.
that-
No, because
Just
that would be
gluten-free
the
waffles.
longer ones would be the minimum 2.5 on the other side. The rest are going to be pretty far away.
Here's just a thought or a suggestion on the doors. I notice you don't have anything about hours of operation or phone number or website. I don't know if you might want to think about including that.
I don't know if this is turned on. Yeah, there it goes. We, just because we are not open yet and
Yeah.
we're still in the construction phase, we don't have those yet.
Okay.
We're working with the landlord, i.e. John, and figuring that out as we speak.
Okay,
I just don't have those right now.
yeah, and I don't know.
We usually, so in our all our other locations on the doors, we do have our hours stated for the public.
It would be wise if we include that in this.
Yeah,
in this
Even if we don't
motion
have the
without them
hours.
being defined. as
Just to
specific.
put in there like dimensions for you so you guys have that.
Yeah, just like placeholder.
So you don't have to come back.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We can work that up in
Yeah.
his drawings. Whatever's easier for you guys.
Well, and trying to make it easy for you.
Yeah, no, vice versa. I mean,
Yeah.
it's listen.
I do have the door glass sizes too.
Go ahead.
They are 24 inches wide by 79 inches tall.
Is that the glass dimension on
The
it?
glass dimension.
And what's the dimension, the width of the window at the corner where we're putting the large 35-inch wide?
It's
At a rough graph.
68 inches tall by 60 inches wide.
Yeah, it's okay.
And I forget whether I asked this already, but did we ask you, you're aware of no exposed conduit and so on, right?
Oh yeah, everything's gonna be inside. Yes, there'll be nothing outside. Everything inside is still open yet. There is already electric there for the planned lights that they have. So all power supplies and wiring will be inside the building.
Okay.
The only thing you'll see will be the letters.
But it looks like there's a couple of things in the sign band. I don't know if it's temporary lighting or.
Yeah, they're just a mock-up of that building with the gooseneck lighting, which is
Going there.
something that building owner and then we'll have to discuss with you guys as far as
Oh,
Yeah, there is wires already sticking out.
okay,
That's for the gooseneck lighting that's on the plans to go in there.
okay. Well, that's kind of weird. I mean,
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with you guys, but yeah.
No,
usually you want it
unfortunately, yes.
Above the sign band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoops. All right. Well, I don't have any other comments. Is there any other questions or comments from?
What color is the back light on the sign?
we haven't decided yet, or they haven't decided yet. I have two options that you can see at the bottom. There's a white and there's more of a warm yellow. He's got it. They're on there. There's like a warm yellow and a white, but with the building being white, it might be better to go with a warmer
Warm yellow.
color, just as far as contrast between the letters and the building.
So the one to the right is what we're kind of looking at.
Great.
Regardless, it's going to be a soft lighting.
So you're thinking like 2700K LED, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
it's
or warmer.
oh, it'll be around that range. It's basically just to accent the sign at night. You know, it's not meant to light the sign up.
Right,
It's not
okay.
internally. You know, it's nothing. That's why we were talking about. They're talking about the gooseneck lighting. That I don't want that to affect the sign very much at all. They're going to be farther away because it's really just for appearance, really, not for anything else.
Point of clarification, that our guidelines predate LED. It says warm, implying incandescent. This commission has taken the stance that maximum 3000 Kelvin. So 2700 would work. Anything above that, typically for the district, is going to be a bluer,
Too blue.
brighter white.
Yep.
Okay.
So I would encourage you to include some language in the resolution for perhaps, well, to be consistent, say maximum 3000 Kelvin. Thank you.
Right, that's fine.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
write that down, send it to them.
Are we ready for a motion that covers the aluminum lettering and the thickness and the lighting temperature and the placement of the vinyl?
Yeah.
Okay,
No
go
more
ahead,
questions
Todd.
for me.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right. So we're looking at making the motion for the aluminum signage as presented with the modification that it is 1 to 1.5 inches deep instead of 1.5 to 2 inches deep, with LED halo lighting behind the letters, with all electronics and power supplies concealed in the ceiling space of the first floor behind the wall, maximum of 3,000 Kelvin temperature on the white lighting. From there, the motion includes the batter up graphics on the door as presented, the batter up graphics on the corner one window as presented, and the vinyl lettering in the windows 2.5 inches down from the top of the window, 3.5 inch tall lettering with a minimum gap to the storefront, aluminum storefront on either end of the lettering of 2.5 inches. Did I get it all right?
I just, one quick question is, where do we want to talk about the placement of the batter ups and the
Oh,
sign
sure.
ban?
Yeah, I think they're, as discussed, centered above the entrance doors and then centered on the center section of the 3-bay storefront on the left-hand elevation.
That's something I can adjust, and you tell me where to email it to, and I can send those in.
And you mentioned vinyl graphics on interior side.
Oh, yeah, vinyl graphics need to be on the interior, the fourth face of the glazing.
And-
Second.
Second. And I forget the exact order of things, but ma'am, do you have any comments on this? Okay,
Hey,
thank
one,
you.
one more thing I just wanted to add. Do we want to add anything about the hours of operation if they, so they don't have to come back?
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Okay. To be reviewed by the historic officer and myself. So when you get those, you could submit those via email with your drawing for your hours of operation.
Can we just, if we don't have our hours, can we at least show a diagram of,
Just make something
like,
up
make
for
something
now.
up just for now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I think we could put this to a vote. Craig Evans.
Aye.
Roger Hudak. I vote aye. Desiree.
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Great. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen, for
Thank you.
Thank you.
that tonight, and
No, thank you so much.
much success to your business. It looks great.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Email me.
It raises some questions that we discovered through the process of evaluating this. There are items
You're gonna ask them.
dealing with the
I'll ask them.
building.
So yeah, basically all I gotta do is show them.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Better pictures of the building,
Yeah.
maybe. So yeah.
there should be some
They're all centered.
communication.
So they want it centered over
It's
there.
gonna be centered over these 3 windows.
windows.
Yeah,
Be
that's
centered over
centered
there,
over
which is
that.
fine.
Yeah,
From
and
the
then
commission.
hours, and then
Just make
By
something up.
commission.
yeah, I'll just do hours Monday through Friday, blah blah blah, and then
Yes.
Yeah, I think it should be on record. Yeah.
What's that?
Sorry, but just
So that under general business.
Yeah,
these
this
two
is under
show
general
the
business.
spacing.
There are items on this
I don't
building
think
that have
they
not
know
been reviewed
Oh,
by
I'm gonna
us.
be honest. I don't think. we're gonna
And
put these on.
I think it's important that
It's
we
just-
follow through on that.
It's gonna look too weird. I
Okay.
think we're gonna exit
Uh,
anyway.
Okay,
Gentlemen,
I'll show them just to
Right,
just so,
just
just
so
so
we can prove them.
Mike and
Right.
Rick,
Okay.
just to let you know, you're still on mic.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's all right.
Okay.
We're just talking about
Okay.
signage.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Craig. So
No, that's,
Okay.
We're good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I mean, you're probably like immediately thinking of like those grills, and yeah, I'm sure there's a whole number of things.
gooseneck lighting as well.
Yeah, you'll get a motion.
Yep.
Great.
Good.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, my immediate response, if that's indeed wiring for the goosenecks, that's not appropriate. They're in the middle of the sign. I don't know the purpose.
Yeah.
It's a bit contradictory.
Yeah, Mike, it'd be great to catch these guys before they do any
Yeah, I'll have to
damage.
pull the I'll pull the COA that we previously approved and take a look at it, compare it to the site.
Just out of curiosity, how's everyone feel about the other aspects of this building? It's a little bit different. You know,
I think it's a good project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So, in that regard, we need a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Make
Anybody?
a motion.
Okay,
Second, if we need it.
Okay, thank you. Any other new business? Okay. Well, the agendas have been kind of light lately.
I should just abstain from that list.
Yeah, I always have a statement does not intend.
Right, right. That makes sense. Yeah. So of course, with the couple of lighted agendas we've had so far this year, it makes me start getting nervous for what's what's ahead. So
Well, there are a number of projects going on. Some of them have been idle for a while.
yeah,
But I think it's incumbent on us to collectively pay attention to what happens so that we don't get projects that get beyond us with what they're doing,
yeah,
so that it's at least consistent with their COA.
And we got a couple of projects finishing up now too. Now would be a good time, maybe take it some time and see if we want to do like we did, reward people who did good work.
yeah.
You know, maybe recognize certain projects that have been successful that we've walked through the process.
Yeah, we certainly talked about that last year, and I agree. I would like to see that happen too. Any thoughts or ideas? I mean, at this point, should we just all be on the lookout and throwing some suggestions out there?
If you guys want to throw it out, I could work up a list of all the previous, just say like, the new construction or projects for the last 24 months or so.
Yeah,
And we can kind of go through them and take a look around and see which ones we feel.
yeah. Maybe we want to go back even further than that. I don't know.
I can go back as far as, 3 years, you know what I mean? And just see what we find.
Yeah.
Because even ones we've done 18 months ago are still under construction. So
Yeah. Oh, I know one other I wanted to ask about because it hasn't reared its head in a while, but the one on New Street, that I forget how many stories tall it was, but it's we were slated to demolish a couple of buildings. This is between 3rd and 4th.
They were going to be over they had the building cantilevered over the,
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the one adjacent. to
Yeah,
the
I know what you're
green.
talking about.
Mhm.
They submitted permit applications and they asked for an extension. It was granted for their permit application, but there's been no movement on that.
Oh, okay. I mean, do you think it's possible that the project's not going to move forward?
I don't know. I mean, they have obviously put a lot of money into their drawings and into the work, and they did submit footer and foundation permits and stuff like that. So it's
Okay.
they've done their due diligence and just not kind of caught up yet.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm just surprised there hasn't been any more movement on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it was a year ago when we were last asking about it, maybe?
That's about right because they asked for a year extension.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, nothing else for me.
we're done.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion, second, yeah. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for trusting Craig and I for another year at the head of the table.